I don't know about you, but I've kind of always had an obsession with art museums, history museums, kind of just museums in general. When I got an internship to work in an art museum, I was so excited. So today I'm going to be talking about how I got that internship and my experience. Hello, my name's Kirsten and I am the artist of this channel. So last year, I got a curatorial internship at an art museum. If you don't know what that is, you're interning as a curator, or at least under the curator, curating assistant, anything like that. You're basically helping curate the art museum, seeing what goes on behind the scenes of an art museum or gallery. Whatever you choose. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I got that internship. I was actually in a college course where we were talking about career success as an art major. And when we got to the topic of opportunities, internships, and careers, a lot of people were really interested in hearing about how I got my internship at a museum. I didn't realize that many people don't really know how to do it or like how to go about that, finding opportunities like that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, okay? Okay. If you're interested, stay. If not, So the first thing I would do, quite literally, search. Just Google art internships available near me. Sometimes they'll pop up in the Google Jobs area and sometimes they'll pop up on Indeed. I found that a lot of internships aren't really posted on like job search websites. I don't know if that's true, but that was just my personal experience. I wasn't finding anything there. So what I did is I hopped directly onto their website. So I looked up all the museums and the galleries that were around me. Usually they have a careers or a job section. Clicked on that and then they have all the internships and jobs that are listed. I saw 3 different internships that were listed. I wasn't remembering correctly when I recorded this, so I went back to check. They had a curatorial, an educational, a marketing, and a development internship. So I clicked on each one. Each one had a pretty good description of what you would be doing, and I chose the one that I think best suited me and what I wanted to do. Now, even if a gallery or a museum doesn't have this option, you can always reach out. And I know like that's the hardest part, and people are like, oh, stop talking about networking and reaching out. It's so awkward and so weird. But if you really want the opportunity, I think emails are actually like the best way to show that you want the opportunity because you took it upon yourself to reach out to them. If they don't have the opportunity listed, especially for like smaller galleries and things like that, I think it's really cool to just like reach out. I think. The second thing I would do after actually finding the opportunity, tailoring your resume. I actually went to go search for my resume that I submitted. It was like more my creative resume rather than my like career resume. I had a lot more of the art opportunities that I was in. Obviously like the volunteer opportunities that I did on campus in college. I was a social media coordinator for a group on campus. That kind of shows that you are committed to something for a long period of time. And then as far as like the art opportunities, listing what shows, what exhibitions, what festivals I was a part of, shows that like I have an interest in this space of art in galleries and in museums. So I did add some of my career things that I was doing for work, but not too many because I didn't want to like add the fact that I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I just didn't feel like it was, I mean, that is a true fact that I did work at Chuck E. Cheese. I just didn't feel like that was important to put on this resume. Obviously, make sure you put like your college, what if you are going to college, what college you're going to, what you're majoring in, what your minor is, what you've been involved in on campus, especially if it has to do with art. I know sometimes like we forget what to put on the resume. Don't forget your art opportunities and everything that you've been involved in. I put my skills that I have that have to do with creative areas like Adobe Photoshop, writing, communication. After I submitted my resume, they asked me for a writing sample. So I was like, okay, I'm not really sure what that is. I had to do a quick Google search. Writing sample, basically anything that you have written in a formal kind of way. I was in college. I had a lot of essays that I wrote that were luckily on the topic of art. I pulled one of those from like my Google Docs and tailored it, edited it to be its best, and submitted that. After I submitted all those things, that's when they reached out to me for an interview. I did a virtual Zoom interview. It was pretty cool. It was like actually one of the shortest interviews that I had ever done. I feel like interviews are really just so they can see your face and get your vibe. If you come in there disheveled, if you come in there looking like you really don't care, you're like gotta have an attitude, like they're not gonna want you, like just smile a lot. Honestly, talk about like why you want this position and why you're interested in this internship. Basically, by the end of the interview, they were like, hey, we'll be sending you some information on like, the next step. So I was like, perfect. There was actually, I think, a few curatorial interns that they hired. For me, they kind of put me on the writing position, which is probably why they asked for my writing sample. I put kind of a lot about writing in my resume, so I guess that's kind of where they shifted me over to. I had to do a bunch of research and write write out a bunch of information about the artists in the upcoming exhibition. So they gave me like a list of like 50 artists, and I had to research each one and put them into short pieces of writing for like pamphlets or guides for the patrons to follow when they're there. So if they're looking at an artist's work and they want to go look in the pamphlet that I wrote out, they can get a lot more information about that artist on there. And then also I was writing the extended labels that they put next to the art pieces when they're being displayed in the museums. I was just doing a ton of writing, but I actually like writing. It's not painful for me. There were some days that we got some hands-on experience, so we got to de-install an exhibition. Basically, we're scraping a whole bunch of vinyl letters off the wall, taking artwork down, packing it back up neatly and labeling them. We had to go into like the basement and pack them like neatly and put them away so that they were stored best. Hands-on experience. It was really great. You also got to collaborate with the other interns and meet the people that worked at the museum, and obviously like the curator of the museum. You got to just like talk, learn, and meet people. It's always great to do that when you're, especially in the arts. If you're in college and you're majoring in the arts, making connections is so important. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but please network. Oh my gosh, I wish I actually networked a little bit more. Yeah, being a curatorial intern was actually a really great experience. I was a little worried at first. It was definitely a lot of work, but it was work that it wasn't too bad. I didn't like not enjoy it. And at least now I came out on the other end knowing whether or not I actually want to do curating, if that's something that I want to do. Yeah, that's why internships are cool to do. And I've had people say like not everyone has the means to do an internship, not everyone has the money, because a lot of internships are unpaid, so not everyone has the time or the money to be spending at an unpaid internship. Obviously, if you don't have the means, you might have to like skip out on it, but if you do have the means, why not give it a shot? It's not like if you do an internship you're going to be successful kind of thing. It's just kind of like doing an internship is good for experience. That's it. So if you can't do an internship, understand, you gotta do what you gotta do, but if you can, that'll be really cool. It will be cool for you, and you can get to see if it is an area that you want to get into. That's my 2 cents. I hope this video helped you, and I hope that you can find an internship, and good luck with finding those. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, I hope this video helped you and gave you some insight on what it's like to be an intern at an art museum. Maybe with this video you can decide whether or not it is something that you want to like venture out and try. If you want to follow me on my socials for my artwork, all my handles are at Kirsten Arts, and my website, which I'm trying to get together, is at kirstenarts.com. Stay tuned for updates on that. If you want to look for anything else, my Linktree is in the description. Whoa! I'm talking too fast. My Linktree is in the description. Again, hope this video helped you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.